Welcome, everyone. I'm not really sure what just happened there, why there's two of me listed here, but hey, everyone, Dr. Jason Pape coming at you live. Let me fix this little thing going on here. There we are. There I am. Here we are. All right, everyone. Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Jason Pape, chiropractor extraordinaire, bringing you education, information, motivation, inspiration on the regular. And as always, I'm bringing you some great information, education tonight. All right, there we are. All right. So, if you don't know me, please, if you've never seen me before, please drop a number 1 in the comments below. If you have seen me before and have come back for more, drop number 2. And if, as always, let me know where you're watching from, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or watching us on replay on any of the other threads. And as you'd like, here's our little QR codes up. Here is our link tree. So if you'd like to follow us, watch us on any of our amazing platforms like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, it's all right there. And I'll also put that running down below with our ticker, with our contact information. Actually, I'll do that one first. There's all our follows. So for those of you jumping on here, definitely say hello. I'll monitor the chat as best I can as we go here today. So again, number 1, if you've never seen before. Number 2, if you've seen before, I've come back for more. Now, tonight, we have a cool little slideshow for you. For whatever reason, the slideshow is not sitting in the first slide. Let's go back. So you guys don't think. So, there we go. Sympathetic overdrive. Why your nervous system is holding you back. And that is what we're going to talk about tonight. Your nervous system. Because I am a chiropractor, and one of the main ways we work on you is with your nervous system. So I have this shirt on in front of me. It says, "It's all about the brain." That's from my mentor, who was on us with here last week. If you want to meet Monica, my mentor, Dr. Monica Berger, feel free to go back and watch last week's on replay. Good stuff. But anyway, today we're going to talk about the chiropractic in general and how we can affect you, how it can affect the body, how it can affect the brain, how it can affect everything in your life. Because chiropractic is not what people just think it is. It's way more, because we can affect so much more than just your spine. We can affect your brain. We can affect your nervous system. We affect it all, right? Because again, where does your spinal cord lie but in your spine? And that is the main highway between your brain and the rest of your body. So if anything in that spine is not moving the way it should, it can affect that. So we're going to go through some basic chiropractic stuff here so you understand that. And we'll talk about some of the cool things we can do, right? So if you've ever seen a spine before, it's really just a series of bones that all sit on top of each other. And they all have a range of motion in them. And every segment, nerves come out. And those nerves go everywhere in your body. They go to your muscles. They go to your organs. They go to your immune system. They go back and forth, this super highway, right? And remember, at every segment of the spine that moves, the nerve exits. And if that segment is not moving properly, if it's subluxated, restricted in its motion, it can affect how the brain and body communicate. And it can change communication along that nerve and cause issues, whether locally, pain, muscle spasm, things away from where you know, like maybe patting down an arm or a leg, or maybe things you don't even know about, right? So our job as chiropractors is to say, hey, where in the spine are things not moving optimally? Where is there subluxation? And we remove that with what's called a chiropractic adjustment. We put a small force into the spine that helps reset the joint to help get the spine to move better, so that way you feel better. And what happens is the brain and body will communicate without interference. The body and brain know how to heal themselves, all right? And all we're doing is taking away any interference that could affect that. So the innate intelligence of the body knows how to do what it does, right? Like if you cut your hand, right? Your hand knows how to repair itself. Right? There's an innate intelligence. You don't have to think, heal, make the new hand, right? It knows what to do, right? And at the same time, it knows to make, when you cut your hand, to make more hand, not an eyeball. Well, that'd be kind of cool, right? You can be like, right? Anyway, the point is that your body has this innate intelligence to know what to do and how to do it and where, and how we want to make sure that we have none of that interference that could be affecting all that and causing issues and distress and what we call dis-ease in the body. All right. If y'all pick up what I'm putting down, feel free to drop a number 3 in the comments below. All right. All right. So let's go back over here to some of me captions, and we'll see what else we can change up here. Give you guys some more information. So again, a little bit more. I am a chiropractor, functional medicine doctor, and I am located in Hauppauge, New York. So if for some reason you would ever like to come see us and you're in the area, there's our contact information. We are the Vitality Center. We are a one-stop holistic shop. So not just myself, chiropractic. We have many other services there. So one of the cool things about us as chiropractors, not just spine doctors, right? We are holistic doctors. We come with the theory of understanding that the body can heal itself, and that our goal is to just free the body to do that and to support it in doing that. Our goal is not to turn things on and off, to suppress areas to get something to happen. Our goal is to support systems to allow the body to do its job the way it's supposed to do it, right? And so very different than your more traditional allopathic medicine. Western medicine versus Eastern medicine. We're more Eastern medicine based, if you will, from theory. So when we talk about the holistic approach, is understanding that all the systems of the body all interact with each other, and that they're all intertwined, and affecting one system affects all other systems, right? I probably use this analogy plenty of times. If you watched me before, if you're new, it's probably a new one for you. But understand that if I took 5 people who've never seen an elephant before, and I blindfolded them all, and I all had them grab a different part of the elephant, like one grab the trunk, one grab an ear, one grab a tusk, one grab the leg, one grab the tail, right? Maybe we'll get a 6th person in there to grab the belly. But at the end of the day, they would all have a very different description of you what an elephant is. But none of them are wrong, but none of them are really right, because they only have a piece of the story. So we understand that we have to put them all together to make the big picture. And unfortunately, traditional medicine nowadays has become so specialized that we kind of lose sight of the big picture. Right? There's the cardiologist, there's the pulmonologist, there's the vascular doctor, there's the hematologist, there's the oncologist. Like, there's so many disparate pieces, and they're all working on the same human being sometimes, but they're all in different things, and they don't kind of worry sometimes about how one system affects the other. My job is the heart. My job is the gut. My job is, I'm the GI guy. All right. So sometimes we lose sight of that interaction. So my goal as more like a primary care holistic practitioner is to be able to support that from the larger end, and understand how all the systems work together, and go from there to help the body get better. And I know that from a chiropractic standpoint, there's certain things I can do and certain things that other people may be better at and supportive. So I bring in other practitioners to help me with that. Hold on one sec. So things like acupuncture and massage, and we have fascial stretch, and we have meditation and hypnosis and yoga, and I have primary care nurse practitioners. We do regenerative medicine. We do, so many things, all within the ones, especially because I understand there's other practitioners that I work with within the center and even outside that all can work together to help the patient get the best result they want. Okay. And I kind of oversee those things. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. So, y'all picking up what I'm putting down. If y'all picking up what I'm putting down, put number 4 in the comments below. Say hello. Say something. Someone let me know you're out there. All right. I see a lot of y'all watching out there on Facebook and on YouTube and all the other center, but feel free to say hi. So we're going to break down another system and how we can affect it. So you can understand that we can have a large effect in the body as a chiropractor, right? Because our goal is that we affect the nervous system directly. So by adjusting the spine, we can reset the nervous system by allowing to take interference from how the brain and body communicate, right? But as we do it, we also give some positive input both into the brain and out to the body, right? Input, output. Now, by the way, if I look a little bit off tonight, I've been fighting off a little poison ivy, so my eyes are a little puffy. That's what's going on here. So if I look a little strange to you, or if you've never seen before, like, that guy looks kind of weird, you might think that anyway, but in general, it's because my eyes are a little bit off because of the poison ivy. So sorry how I look. But anyway, understanding that there's a great effect on the whole body by the chiropractic adjustment, okay? Not just about removing interference, about supporting overall health and wellness. All right. So there's not a lot of research out there supporting a lot of things we know, we see in practice, right? So we have to be careful what we say, because again, there's not a lot of studies because not a lot of money in it, right? Unfortunately, there's not millions of dollars pouring into pharmaceutical companies to do studies on things to help, with a drug. Not like what a chiropractic adjustment could do to affect your nervous system on a more finite level. So there's definitely some great research being done by Dr. Heidi Havik and some other doctors out there. Crazy stuff, but it'd be amazing if we had a lot more money out into the chiropractic profession or into research to confirm more of the things we already kind of know we can do. So let's talk about that. So there is your central nervous system, right? Most of us know what that is. Hopefully you all can tell that that lets me communicate from here down, and peripheral nervous system is part of that, and lets me do this. All right. There's also part of our nervous system called our autonomic nervous system. Okay. The autonomic nervous system controls things we don't think about. It works autonomously, works on its own. It controls things like breathing, digestion, blood pressure, all those kinds of things, right? Because if we all had to think about breathing, we'd all be dead, right? We'd all forget, we'd all be dead, because we can affect those things, but it's not the kind of thing that we have to think about doing. Otherwise, we would not be here anymore. So there are two halves to that autonomic nervous system. One is called sympathetic, one's called parasympathetic, and they contrast each other, right? One might raise something up, the other one will go the other way, and the other one will bring it back, right? So sympathetic might raise your heart rate and your pressure, parasympathetic bring it back down, right? So there are other names for these systems. The other name for the sympathetic system is called your fight or flight, which many of you have heard of, and the opposite of that is your parasympathetic, which is called your rest and digest. Most of that's controlled by your vagus nerve. So some big words you may have been hearing more. So I will go more into depth with that, but I'm going to pop this up here because we can affect those systems from a chiropractic standpoint. So sympathetic overdrive, why your nervous system holding you back? Because a lot of people sit in this sympathetic dominance, this fight or flight state on a larger or smaller scale. We're going to talk about that tonight. So let's go into this first slide that my amazing staff put together. So what is sympathetic overdrive? All right. Chronic activation of that fight or flight system. That's what we were just talking about, right? And it can be triggered by stress, screens, posture, trauma, lifestyle. We talk about the 6 T's a lot with my mentor in our group. That doesn't work very well. Let me see if I can swap this around. I'll try to make it look better. I don't know if you guys can see that at all. And also some other causes can be things like insomnia, anxiety, tension, pain, poor digestion. Those also could be symptoms of it too, by the way. Let's move this back to here again. All right. So let's go to the next page and we'll talk a little bit more about all that. So symptoms that you might see when you're stuck in this, right? Brain fog and mental fatigue, irritability, mood swings, muscle tightness, chronic pain, wired but tired, trouble, can't sleep, right? Shallow breathing, racing thoughts, and we'll break that all down. So let me minimize this, go back to this. So when you're in fight or flight, right, your brain and body are in a state of survival, right? So let's imagine you're walking through the woods one day, having a nice little stroll, and all of a sudden a tiger jumps out at you. Uh-oh, what am I going to do? Well, if a tiger jumps out at you, chances are you need to get the hell out of Dodge, right? Your first answer should be, I ask this question a lot to patients especially when I'm doing neurofeedback consults, and it's like, their question is like, well, I don't know. I'm like, oh, run. Yeah, I would run. Like, yeah, you're going to run. Unless you're Siegfried or Roy, you're not fighting the tiger. All right. And if you had to think about it before you did it, most people would not be here, right? Because it would be like, oh, that's a tiger. That's weird. I'm in Long Island taking a little stroll and there's a tiger in the woods. That's kind of weird. You know what? Maybe I should probably get out of here. By the time you thought about that kind of stuff, guess what? You're tiger meat, right? You are definitely not your lunch or supper or whatever time of your day it is, because your brain was not fast enough to get you out of there. So the cognitive part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, which connects to your amygdala and your limbic system, your amygdala is your fear center of your brain, they connect to each other. About 90% of their connections are with each other, and they inhibit one another with only one interneuron. So very fast, very quick connections that turn each other off. So when the tiger jumps out, cognitive brain shuts off very quickly because this guy turns on and says, we got to get the hell out of here. And fight or flight gets engaged, and we go. Okay? Y'all with me on that? If you are with me on that, drop a number 5. And drop a tiger emoji in the comments if you can, or drop a number, or right there, just write tiger. Rawr, whatever. But so anyway, you run away, hopefully, and you get to safety. And when you get to safety, okay, and your body kind of recovers and you sort of breathe and you kind of come back. You ever watch a marathon runner, right? They run 26.2 miles. and they're running around. And the second they cross the finish line, they just collapse. It's like, what happened? Well, because we went from fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight. I don't have to fight or flight anymore. Boom, rest and digest, recover, right? And we come back. That's just a crazy swing there. But that makes sense. So our body has to come back and recover. And even if you walk the marathon, it's still a lot of work, and you can have a fight or flight response to get you out of it. Because it's a lot of walking, or running, or jogging, or whatever it may be. So think about that state, though. All right, when you're in that state, your brain is taking in everything from its surroundings, and everything's on high alert, right? Because you don't know where danger is coming from. The only thing that matters in that state is survival, right? Get out of Dodge, make it fight another day. Okay, you're not worried about what you're having for lunch. You're not worried about digesting your food, right? All the blood is going to your muscles and your arms and legs to get you out of there. It's going to get your heart pumping. It's going to get the blood pressure up, the heart rate going. Your eyes dilate, but then more air, light, so you can see more what's going around, right? So you're not focusing. You're not attending, really, right? It's not the place where you're going to go learn. In that state, you're not going to sit there and pay attention to the teacher. This is turned off, okay? So good luck with brain fog and focus, right? You're going to be on edge. Dude, what? Maybe you're in a fight, right? That's fight or flight, right? Do you think you might be a little more irritable in that state? If you're in fight or flight, you think you're going to rest and digest? Do you think you're going to sleep well? Are your arms and legs going to maybe get sore over time because they're constantly in this kind of compressed, this contracted state where there's so much blood flow? You're not getting stuff out. You're not recovering because you're not sleeping and coming like that. We go back to that list again, right? Brain fog and mental fatigue. Well, again, your brain's not in the right place. Irritability, mood swing, muscle tightness, wired but tired, can't sleep, right? You're up, you're there, you're awake, you're in adrenaline, but you're not sleeping, all right? And then again, your shallow breathing, racing thoughts, all those things can be a factor, all right? So why does it matter? Well, your healing will slow down in sympathetic state. Your body's in survival mode, not recovery mode, right? We just talked about that. Long-term stress equals long-term dysfunction. So let's go back to that. So healing would slow, right? We heal when we sleep. We heal when we rest. I always yell at my people who are in the gym too much because they don't ever take a day off. Like I had one patient the other day, and they're 7 days a week. I'm like, dude, you're like 22. You want to get big and strong. Guess what? You got to take a couple of days off. You want to grow? You take some days off, right? They just don't. The young kids, they don't get it because they think, I got to keep working out. I can't stop. You know what? You'd be surprised how much growth you even take a week off. If you've been doing that for a while and you go back, you'll be stronger than when you started. It's just crazy because the body needs to recover. If you don't ever give it a chance to recover, it's constantly in breakdown mode, right? It's never in repair mode and rebuild, right? You have to break down and rebuild. And the whole point with muscle and working out is you break down the muscle and you rebuild that muscle bigger and stronger than before. When you do it repetitively, that's adaptive stress, adaptive change and adapt to the stress challenge, overcoming that stress challenge. So you need some challenge and then time to recover. Right? If you do it for too long, any stress in the body is not good for too much, right? And when you have a stress in the body, cortisol goes up. And then when the stress comes down, cortisol goes back down. In the short term, cortisol elevating is a good thing because it brings anti-inflammatory aspects to things that squashes messes, helps with healing. When you have it for too long, cortisol becomes pro-inflammatory. We don't want that. And eventually, if you do it for way too long, you can burn out your adrenals. And now your adrenal glands have been pumping cortisol for so much they start getting really fatigued, right? And now your body's not responding to stress well at all. And the body's got to find some way to keep your energy up, to keep things going. Well, then the norepinephrine, one of those like noradrenaline, gets pumped up more. That can start bringing up heart rate and everything else. It's a whole sympathetic mess when you're in that state for too long. We don't want that, okay? In survival mode, not recovery mode. We just said that. And long-term stress is long-term dysfunction. Do you see what I was just explaining? How if we're stuck in the state for too long, how do you heal? How do you restore? Well, you can't, right? And listen, we're not all running from tigers every day. We're not fighting warring tribes every day. And that's what we used to do. We'd have times of fear and we come back down like this. Now, we don't live in a place where we're getting chased by tigers most of the time. At least I hope not, right? But we have lots of little micro stresses, right? That add up over time and they don't go away, right? I got to pay these bills. I got to go to work. I got to, I got to take care of this person, that thing, blah, blah, blah. And we just keep loading things on. And it just adds and adds and adds and adds. Then we talk about what's in your subconscious and what's driving those things. So it all adds up. And eventually we hit a threshold. And really what that threshold is when people have a panic attack. Right? Panic attack is just having a fight or flight response without a fight or flight stimulus. Right? You're running from a tiger, but there's no real tiger there. But we all sit in some of that state when we sit in the sympathetic overdrive. All right. And it just eats up our resources. It doesn't let us heal and restore. And it does not good for your health, not good for your digestion, everything else. Okay. So why do I talk about this? Well, again, it's your nervous system, right? So how do you have to support that nervous system? And one way to do that is to the main highway, which is your spine. So who's the best person to care for your spine? This guy. And people like me, chiropractors, all right, that understand this brain-body connection, that if you get that highway free of subluxation and proper input, the body's going to function better, right? And there is some research, I don't want to misquote this, but we're selling some stuff that adjustments help to turn on this prefrontal cortex. Upper cervical work helps this turn on. This turns on, this turns off. Ooh, some cool stuff out there. All right. Oop, it just popped up a thing on my screen there. Okay, let's go back to some slides here. Boop, boom, parasympathetic shift. The goal, activate, rest, and digest, folks. Activate, rest, and digest. Where did my Resimax go? I'm going to need that. So rest and digest, right? That vagal tone, we want to work on that parasympathetic system. So it does help support healing, digestion, emotional regulation, because we're in a better state. We're in a calm, relaxed state. Our body can heal in that place. That's a place of safety, balance, and function. Making sense? Y'all pick it up what I'm putting down. Please drop a comment in the comments. A comment in the comments. That would be a place to put them, right? Anyway, send a message to my team here. All right, so let's go for the next slide, shall we? But went too many slides. Hold on. Let's go back. So again, how we flip the switch in the Vitality Center. So we want the Vitality Center, we have ways to do this, right? So one is chiropractic care. Number one, people come in. I've had plenty of patients come off my table and tell me, hey, doc, I just feel calmer. I feel more relaxed. I feel more connected with my body. I feel less anxiety. I've had patients that used to say my depression wanes after I get off the table. I'm not treating them for these things. Okay, they're coming in for chiropractic care, for their spine, for health. Maybe they have a pain in the neck, back, whatever. But we do the work, and these are the things they tell me anecdotally. So understand that these are some cool things you may see. All right, and we're not just guessing, right? We know how the science works. We've been doing this for a long time. We extrapolate a lot of things from what we know from the science that is proven, but we know how physiology works, right? And we use amazing tools and hands-on care to create a full system reset. All right. And listen, there's a lot of things in our nervous system reset. All right. One is the chiropractic care. Right. And many ways we can do that. The main way we do that is with something called an activator, but we also do manual chiropractic care as well. All ways to stimulate, recruit good nervous system function. All right. We also, one of the tools I use in the office is something called a Resimax. Let me come up to a bigger picture here. So this is a Resimax. It looks kind of funny, but this thing actually is pretty cool because it vibrates, all right? And it vibrates, no naughty thoughts. So it vibrates at frequencies that stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. So you can use it on chest. You can use it with these little clamps that go onto the back of the neck. You can put it on your feet if your proprioceptive is low. There's a lot of ways you can use it. And the cool thing about these side things is I can work on tissue with this as it vibrates. So like I'll work on fascia like that. So fascia is the tissue around the tissue. So I can work on adhesion with tools I use. But sometimes I can be uncomfortable. But I can also, if I turn this thing, so I can work on my muscle right now, I might be a little uncomfortable. If I turn this on and do it, because it's vibrating when I do it, actually I can do more and it actually helps stimulate the system to calm down and I actually don't feel it as much. So it's just a kind of a really cool tool we use in the office as a way to stimulate parasympathetic. We also have a PEMF mat called the Beamer mat. Beamer is another thing that's been shown to like the certain frequencies can help bring you into more of a parasympathetic relaxed state, helps to increase circulation, helps to dilate blood vessels, help to increase capillary perfusion. All these things our body needs to do to heal and restore. And we have other techniques in our office too that can help support this. So listen, massage is another great piece too, right? When we talk about massage, just taking the muscle tension out, getting the crap out, letting the body heal, restore. How many people get a massage and just feel relaxed, even though it may be deep tissue, right? Another thing we do, we have a holistic esthetician, another way to kind of calm, relax you. She does she does some energy work with you too. Yoga classes can be great. Meditation can be great. Hypnosis, another way to get to that subconscious and get this stuff out. I've been driving and sitting underneath driving more that sympathetic overdrive, right? We have fascial stress therapists, and they stress the fascia, not just the muscles, and it calms, relaxes the body, balances things out. And let me tell you, a lot of traumas are stored in the fascia. So ways to release all that stuff out, right? IV therapies, things like that, all ways to calm and system and give it the support it needs to heal. All right, so these are some of the ways that we at the Vitality Center can do that. Well, tell Nancy I said hi back. I see some notes coming in from my team. Some of my stuff's not flowing from the chat here today. So this is some of the things we do. And then in my other office in Northport, I also do neurofeedback, another way to teach the brain to make new pathways and connections, and it can support that dysautonomia. That's what that really is. When that's an imbalance, it's called dysautonomia. And we see a lot more of that since COVID, not just from COVID itself. I mean, there's a lot of figures that long-term COVID is a dysautonomic shift, and then even from the COVID vaccine, unfortunately. So there's a lot of things that we see a lot more of that now. All right. So adjustments help rewire that nervous system. I mean, we definitely put an input in, restore that emotion, and it sends input into that brain. It sends input all around, helps reset, helps restore. All right. We can target key stress areas like these muscles here, big stress zones. So we can help work those areas, these muscles out too. The jaws, and other people clench their teeth, grind. We can help with that as well. At least take away it. And even if the sources may be deeper, that need other work from other practitioners, like a hypnotherapist or someone like that, we can still take away the stress by adjusting the jaw, by adjusting the neck, the upper back, working the muscle tension. All right, with different therapies. All right, and we really help that. We help actually turn on that vagus nerve and turn off that fight or flight. All right. Is what we've seen in our practice. Okay. So the Resimax is pretty cool. Vibration and frequency-based nerve stimulation, great for things like TMJ, headache, stress, muscle tension, many, many things. And it can really calm them. I actually gave one of these to my nutritionist. She's had a baby, 3 months, just over 3 months old now. And there was the witching hour, she was calling it, for a little while, where the baby would get a little irritated at night. Didn't matter. They had to constantly move her. So the Resimax was definitely a tool that helped her just calm and relax. Kind of cool. Beamer mat, another thing we use in the office, is great. You just kind of lay on this thing for 8 minutes, and it makes a huge shift for people. In fact, they have a Beamer vet that they put on horses, and you can just watch the horse just kind of chill and relax. The shoulders drop. Animals gravitate to it. It's very calming and relaxing. It's another way to kind of stimulate that system. And like I said, things like hypnosis, guided imagery, they can help get rid of the stress patterns, get you in a deep system, see relaxation, and also clear the crap from the subconscious that's feeding a lot of these anxious thoughts and things that are negative in the brain and in the body. And we have all these things right in the office, and we work all together, these different practitioners, to give those kinds of results for people. And we have personalized care for what you need. That's where I come in. I'm that overseer who really kind of looks at that case for most patients and says, here, listen, this is what you're coming in with. This is how I can help you. This is where I can help you from chiropractic, from a functional nutrition state, from our therapies. Here's some practitioner I think you might benefit from. You know what? I think you should really go see the stretch guy. You know what? You should get a massage. You know what? You should really go get an IV drip. Maybe you should try hypnosis. Maybe you should do meditation. Maybe you should whatever, right? Yoga class. Come to puppy yoga. So we do that once a month. It's a cool thing. So we have a lot of cool ways we can work with the patient. So many things and so many toys. I'm only touching some of them. Even our Lumi lights. Our Lumi lights have a setting that will just take you for a ride and put you in a nice, chill, and relaxed state. I have plenty of people that have been in that anxious state, putting on Lumis, and they just chill. So, and if they want to learn more about the Lumis, I did a live on the Lumis, I guess 4 weeks ago today. So what would that put us at? 25th, the 11th, I think, March 11th. Look back on our YouTube or our Facebook, and you can see that video I did with Carol from Lumiceuticals. Went through all like how the Lumi lights work. It's pretty cool. If you want to try them out, let me know. They even do a rental where you can rent them at home for a couple of weeks, try it out. It's pretty neat. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this makes some sense. But at the end of the day, if you haven't seen a chiropractor before, go see one now. If you live near me, come see me. Here's our information down below. If you feel like, you want to learn more, feel free to reach out. And if you think anyone might benefit from this, please share this out. Put it on your page, private message in a group, and a post, whatever. We also have some great supplements that really can help with this. So if you need any kind of supplements, let me put a different code up here. So some of the stuff I really like to use for this, you can go to my full script here. There's definitely some supplements that I can recommend. Support that nervous system. One is called Copacom. I love Copacom. It's a really great product from Orthomolecular that can take people right down from like that heightened like anxiety, depressed state. And I've seen that people just feel in 10 to 15 minutes a shift. And if not, we can do a second dose at that point. It really can be helpful. There's some really great other neurotransmitter support / adaptogens I work with. So like Ortho makes some really nice adaptogens I use to help with cortisol, mitigating stress in the body. One's called New Adapt, another one's called True Adapt Plus. I use that more when they have more adrenal fatigue on top of it. They also have some good things to support those neurotransmitters, the brain chemistry, Cerevive, Serenity. Those are some great products. There's another one from Designs I love called Catacolicom. That's another great nervous system support. And then Biologent, which I can put their thing up here too if you're interested. We did the thing on them last week. They have a great new cortisol anti-stress product. That's an amazing thing formulated by my mentor over there. So all different ways you get some different stuff. We even have some, Bach flower remedies. It's one called Soul Blossoms we use. That's great for just taking anxiety. So there's always places you can go, right? How do we support it from a nutritional, supplemental standpoint? How do we take it from a chiropractic standpoint, the physical part? How do we take it from the emotional underneath part, right? The other therapies we do. So that's kind of what we do. And guess what else is really cool and known to be a nice anxiolytic? Ketones. Anti-inflammatory, brain fog helping. Being in that state of ketosis can help with all those states. So why not drink them and see if it helps you out? I'm not making claims that that product does that, but it's a good thing that you can, if you know what the research shows about ketones, well, get into ketosis, see what happens. All right, less brain fog, less anxiety, better focus, all those kinds of things. So I hope this has been helpful. And if you haven't, follow us. Don't like follow me home, but like follow us on our on these things. And again, if you found this helpful, please feel free to, drop a comment, say hello, send us a message. You can contact us at the information below. And we'd love to hear from you. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about, put it on here. I'm more than happy to cull some information from the public out there. I'd be more than happy to take some more on there and help you guys out. See if there's things you want me to talk about, explore, maybe explain to you a little bit better. I've always been known to be good at making very hard, complex things digestible. So I appreciate you all. And if you want to say thank you, the best way to say thank you is share this out. Put it on a page, private message in a group, in a post, whatever. Put this information out there. As always, like, subscribe, things like that. So unless you have any questions, y'all, I'm going to sign out. And it was a good night with you guys. And it was good to see you. And with that, I'll give my little goodbye card. Boop, boop, ba-doo. Dr. Ketones out, folks. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, share. We always appreciate you here on the channel. And as always, we are the Vitality Center. I am Dr. Jason Pape, chiropractor extraordinaire. See you all in the next video next week. Same